Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about how to freely farm elo in the mid lane in this season. And really the simple way to do that is to play a champion like Syndra or Orianna, or some scaling mage that can take First Strike plus Sweet Tooth, Sea Jar, Transcendence, Gathering Storm runes, and gets to scale for free, while still being pretty strong in lane, and just overall having a very simple, straightforward playstyle that doesn't deviate whether your team is winning or losing. So we're basically going to just talk about the early game initially, and then kind of the strat after the early game, that type of thing. We're going to relate it to Syndra specifically. However, this is very, very similar for every mage that scales really well. You can do Heimerdinger, you can do Victor, you can do Orianna, etc. Basically, first thing you're looking at, whatever lane matchup you're in, whenever the enemy are looking to walk up for last hits, you punish them with your spells. Nothing more complicated than that. So every time that Victor either walks too close to me or goes up for a last hit, I'm going to try to punish him if I think, I'm going to win the trade. So there, he goes up for last hit, he's autoing the minions, QW, boom, easy. Little trade there. Obviously works well for my champion because I get stacks. You could even play like Veigar for this strategy too, if you really wanted. I've been playing against a couple Veigars today. I don't recommend Veigar as much as the others, but, definitely up to you. And so I've had days, or today rather, sorry. Today I played, I think I lost like a bunch at the start, not a bunch, I guess I was going pretty even, pretty 50-50, but getting some unlucky, frustrating games, and it felt like no matter what I do, I just can't win. And then I continued playing the same style. I was playing the Mage style when I was losing all these games, and I continued to play the same style, and all of a sudden I go on a 7-game win streak. And the reason for that is because it's a very consistent play style that has a super high baseline. You're always going to have high gold, you're always going to do high damage, you're always going to just be strong in the game. But if you play this way, some games your teammates just aren't good enough, and you can't always impact the early game enough, because the strategy again revolves mostly around, in the early game, getting poke, making the enemy get lower when they go for last hits, finding your recall on mana boots whenever you can. I think you'll see me recall here in a second, probably after I push this wave. And then again, just coming back to lane, getting a small lead, and that means if your team goes 0-4 in the early game, as you see my team doing right now, you don't really have impact on that. Like, you don't get to roam really early. You're sticking in lane, you're playing for your lane, trying to get a small lead, eke out an advantage, and then eventually scale up and really carry the game. And so this strategy, again, you're going to have games where you lose 3, 4, 5 games in a row because your team plays bad, but it's a very good strategy for getting a 55, 60%, 65% win rate, because all of the games that you should win, you'll win because you're strong enough. You're still going to be strong enough to carry a lot of games, like you're going to see this one, for example. And yeah, it's just a very easy playstyle as well. It's a very easy way to get elo. Just doesn't require a lot of insane skill. You punish the enemy last hits in lane, you poke them out simply, you position well in fight, keep track of enemy key spells, farm well by catching in side lanes rather than worrying about fighting 24/7, and you're going to be chilling. It's not too much more complicated than that. And then you just need to understand around the 11-minute mark that you start grouping mid more and getting more involved in the fights around the Baron, around objectives, that type of thing. So when there's no objective up and your team's randomly fighting, just use that as an opportunity to get gold when your team is fighting and you guys are, actually there's an objective up or your team's already pretty strong and pretty ahead, then you'll go to fight. So you don't really want to fight much when you're behind, and so you can see here also we find the solo kill despite our team, again, not doing well. So we're getting like the lane lead, and that's usually what we're worried about. But if your team is strong and they're winning the game, you can fight a little more often because fights are going to be more winnable, obviously, if your team's winning. But most games, even if your team is doing decently well, and especially if your team's doing poorly, you want to value your own gold. You want to go for farm on side lanes when your teammates overgroup and fight, whatever. So you can see here right now, my team is down 5k gold at this point, pretty much. I don't know what the enemy are doing there. They just randomly die to the turret, and then this gives me a free shutdown on Lucian. And again, this is a master elo lobby. I think I'm like, at this point, 15 marks maybe on this. I'm 17 marks now, but I think during this game maybe 15 marks, 14, something like that. And you see, people do these silly mistakes. That's all you're doing with this strategy. You're just taking advantage of silly mistakes while farming consistently and relying on the enemy to mess up at some point, and you're just going to scale well enough that you can carry a lot of games. I have a rank 1 Syndra guide if you want to know more about Syndra. I have a rank 1 Orianna guide if you want to know more about Orianna. Both champions that do this strategy very well. And so yeah, we just continue to focus on our own gold this game. So there's a mid wave up, so I'm going to go for the mid wave. If I can kill the Pyke, I will, but I don't end up being able to. I don't believe my Lee Sin gets him. And so again here, nothing more complicated than get the mid wave, because there's a mid wave there, get the next mid wave, and then look where else I can get gold afterwards. So I know I can get gold in this mid wave, so I should just immediately go to it. as you see, I do my simple wave clear combo. It looks like here I actually try to trade with Victor because, you know, why not trade with him, right? Get some stacks and whatnot. So I don't need to clear as quick. So if you can, again, you can get these little advantages in lane, you can go for them instead. Like here, he gives me the opportunity to solo kill him. If I hit my third ability, I would have solo killed him. I just missed my my third ability. And so we stick around in lane a bit longer, and now there's one more wave, so now we can play around that wave, right? So it's, again, you go to lane, pushing out your lane, look to roam when you can, but if you see an angle to, you know, get an advantage in the fight, you can. Here again, this is where we find the solo kill now, because he just walks up for no reason. And so sometimes it's like your mid lane opponent, like this Victor, who sucks and gives you free kills, and you take advantage of it. Sometimes they don't give you kills, and you still scale and farm up. I've made plenty of videos of me doing the same thing on Syndra, but I go 0-0-0 early game, and I still carry because I'm always getting gold, I'm always farming, and then I'm just waiting until the enemy do some dumb shit. Because the reality is, they do dumb shit a lot, you know? If there's one thing about Wild Rift, it's that you can count on, it's people doing dumb stuff. That is a very, very consistent thing that happens in the game. And so here, when they walk up for no reason, I'm going to get my poke, I'm going to get my stacks up, so I'm concerned with getting stacks, I'm concerned with getting gold on side lanes when my teammates, you know, die or whatever, and I'm concerned with pushing my own mid wave and getting my own lane lead. So here you can see, I don't want to actually go fight with my team, I just want to go value this top lane wave, for example, and my teammates are already mid, so I'm not going to worry about that mid lane wave. My ADC's got that, I might as well get my side lane waves, and here there's like 300 gold sitting around for free, and I get the sweet tooth gold as well. Overall, just a bunch of free fruit, bunch of free gold, everything like that. Just from this little side lane, you know, adventure that I decided to go on. And then once again, we just poke for some stacks, poke for some first strike, just everything like that. Nothing too complicated. If the enemy overextend, I'm going to kill them because, again, it's a very consistent playstyle where I can catch out the enemy in a lot of situations like this. We nearly get the pike. Unfortunately, we don't. And so then I just have to barrier, I have to flash out in a second. Not the end of the world. Still totally happy with all of the stuff that I got out of that. Got a bunch of stacks, bunch of gold on the side. Now we go right back to mid again. So if you're really looking for a simple strategy to play, you play your lane well by punishing the enemy last hits. I have a video on how to lane as a mage. If you want to search it up on my YouTube channel in my Evergreen Videos playlist, it's there. Then once you get out of the lane phase, you're just looking for gold in the side lane and mids. You push out your mid, then you go to the side, you get the side lane gold. You don't really fight until you realize that you're strong enough, you know, to fight, which is hitting your death cap typically, or maybe you're just already farming really well early on in the game and you get some kills, some whatever, your team's doing well. And then around the 11-minute mark, you're going to see the shift where now you hover mid a bunch more, and you really just value zoning around the objectives, poking people out, taking advantage of their mistakes around the objectives. And again, you just position safely, keep track of the dangerous people of the enemy, and you're probably going to be chilling. So like here in this game, I want to be scared of Pyke, so I'm not going to walk up on this mid wave because Pyke could be there. And if Pyke's there, I die. So I'm not going to go there. What am I going to do instead? I'm going to go get this safe bot lane wave. We can see the bot lane wave is in a much, much safer position, and there's a Gwen who can give me some juicy stacks, which is nice. So we're nearly at 100 now. And again, I'm just going to get that safe wave. So you don't need to greed the mid waves when your mid turret's dead, for example. If your team is, you know, doing bad and you lose your mid turret early, you just wait till it comes closer. Then you see it. Now I get it here. I get my soul stealer. I take the gold from the Jhin because the Jhin is, you know, he's inting pretty hard. So obviously I'm going to value the gold on myself more. And then once again, I'm looking, where can I find gold in the map? It looks like mid lane I might be able to sneak out, you know, a wave or two, and then that top lane wave is going to be pushing, so let me get top lane after. So here I go, and again, I snag the wave from my Jhin. The Jhin has been dying in lane all game. I don't care if he gets gold, doesn't matter. What do I do now? I go and I try to race him to the top lane. Now Lee Sin ends up beating us there, which is fine. Don't mind Lee Sin taking this. He can take that if that's, you know, as a jungler, it's fine to farm those waves like that. Same way that I, as a Syndra, I'm looking for it. And so here again, we're looking for the side lane wave. In this case, we end up just catching out the Lucian for free on the side lane with our jungler. And we're kind of chilling. Here you're going to see, though, the Mundo definitely tankier than I anticipated. And that is a mistake from me sticking around too long. I also gave him fruit. I think it lags for a second, but I gave him fruit, which was not very smart of me. That was not the smartest thing I've ever done. I guess my stream was lagging here. I didn't even realize it was lagging, but yeah, bad play by me. Shouldn't have gone forward, shouldn't have died, obviously. Did not anticipate Mundo being too powerful. Should have anticipated that, and we die. So obviously, you can make mistakes with this playstyle. It's not like you're gonna never make mistakes, never get caught, never do something dumb. That happens. But ultimately, you come back, and you just focus back on the gold. Even if you die one time, as long as you don't just go and die over and over again, you're gonna be chilling. You're gonna be able to get the proper amount of gold. And so even though my team is down 4K, I mean, you saw my team was down 4K at the start of the game, and now we're down 4.7K 10 minutes into the game, which is obviously, if the gold lead hasn't, you know, snowballed at all, that's good for us. So we definitely have a chance to win this. If the enemy overextend, they do anything silly, we're kind of chilling. As Syndra specifically, I'm really looking to target the squishies, and you're going to see a few times I make the mistake of ulting Mundo and ulting Pyke, the champions that are a lot harder to kill. So I definitely make some mistakes in this game with target priority. I'd say that was like my biggest issue this game. But you can see again, I go and I try to find the bot wave. My Lee Sin goes there too. Again, totally fine with him going there if that's what he wants, because he wants to find gold too. Like he's a jungler, he's trying to find his gold. That's fine. I probably could have just gone mid here if we look back on it, and that might have been a little easier. But regardless, you know, again, it's a very boring, very simple play style. We're finding the gold wherever we can. And eventually, we're trying to get to the point that we can carry, and that's going to be around these mid waves on 11 minutes. So you see 10:45, that's when we're starting to prepare. We're starting to get ready for it, because that's when the Baron spawns. And so now at this point, I've farmed really well. I'm quite strong despite my team, you know, not being strong. And so we end up just trying to hover around here, find kills. We miss some abilities on Pyke, and so he doesn't die. So it ends up being, and then for some reason, my Lee Sin was topside. I guess he just like doesn't care about Baron because he knows he can get some gold topside, get a gold bounty, whatnot, which I mean is not the worst thing ever, honestly. Here I'm just looking for a steal. You're also really, really good at stealing objectives with these mages, so I'm looking for it. I did not get it here. I got a couple Baron steals today that clutched out some other games, but this one we were not able to get it. But yeah, mages in general, they have really good Baron stealing. Like Orianna is absolutely insane at stealing objectives. Syndra's good at it. So a lot of times you just hover there, hope the enemy throw, and then boom, like they die one time, or they lose the Baron one time, and you all of a sudden you're like, the game turns around. But yeah, here, again, we're just stalling out the game. Like, just use our good wave clear to continue to stall, catch someone out if they overextend, like the Mundo here, you know, it's just going too deep. I think I end up ulting him and getting the kill on him. And so yeah, they end up overextending with their Baron, and first Baron doesn't last very long. So even if the enemy get first Baron, it only lasts 1:30. You can totally win the game after they get it. Like, they overextend, 1 or 2 people die, all of a sudden they don't get to get any value out of the Baron, they get no gold out of it. You get a shutdown gold or something from killing someone, the Baron minions come into you so that you can farm them for free, and like, you're chilling. So we're not even upset about the fact that they got Baron. And then you can see here, I try to pick off the Victor, but I miss my spells because I'm stupid and an idiot who's dumb. And that's just what I am. I'm just a stupid, dumb idiot. But either way, we end up getting the Victor at the end. Also kind of simultaneously looking for Galio's Aegis here, you know, seeing if I can get enough kills and assists and damage to get the Galio's Aegis, if possible, just in case we do lose. Also kind of something that was in my mind, you know, during this game. But at this point, I have the most gold in the game. I grab a Proto Belt just because this specific game, they have a lot of champs I want to kite, and so having that dash is actually really nice. Not a very common thing. This is like my first time using Proto Belt on this champion, but I tried it out this game. It felt nice in this situation. Because Gwen needs to be kited, Mundo needs to be kited, Pyke, same thing, right? So there's just a lot of things where it worked in this game. Not something I would recommend every game, but in this game it was really good. You also get the penetration if you hit someone with the Proto Belt, so it's good for one-shotting people. Might be something I try out a little more on Syndra as I play more, but that's like a pretty game-specific thing. And so again here, nothing too complicated. Now that we've got our farm, when the enemy walk into us, we throw our spells on them, we walk back until our spells are up, and then we walk back forward. And we look to target the squishies ideally. Sometimes we make the mistake of not targeting squishies properly, as you'll see. But that's really the main kind of concern that I have. And then I'm trying to catch out that Victor. Honestly, I could have killed that Victor there. I got scared. I got cold feet, you know, but I could have killed him there. Should have just Proto Belted onto his face and killed him. Oh well. Not the end of the world. But again, we're just looking for the side lane gold. Pushing it out, stalling out the game. And then we see if we can find a kill somewhere. And so here the Mundo ends up overextending. This is what I was talking about, my mistake. I ulted the Mundo because he's 1 HP, but it turns out, you know, a 1 HP Mundo is actually just a full HP tank because he has his ultimate and he has Gargoyle. Something I should have been aware of. Again, just trying to stall out the games, playing tower defense at this point. And then at some point, the enemy, if they overextend, for example, Mundo got caught by my Lee Sin, we might be okay. Here, I'm even looking for a kill over getting that wave just because of the fact that Galio's Aegis, you know, obviously requires me to get more kills if I do want to stall the game out, or if I want to get S rating to not lose, you know, marks, since this did kind of look like a loss at this point. But now at this point, we're just kind of looking to see if we can pick anyone off. Playing pretty safe again, nothing too complicated. If the enemy overextend, they try to do Baron, they try to do something dumb. We end up going and looking for them, try to pick them off. If not, we just make, again, we're just playing consistently. For example, randomly Pyke is just, I don't know, he's just here. He just lets me do that. I don't know why. Like, I have no idea why he's there, but he's there. And so I kill him. And these types of things happen a lot in every elo. Again, I'm master early season. That's relatively high, probably compared to most of you guys. And you still see random pikes on side lane 1 HP for no reason giving you free kills. And like these are, it's nothing too complicated. The strategy is very, very simple. Definitely like the easiest strategy to climb of the 5 rules that I'm currently climbing on, you know, doing my 5 rule challenge. And I mean, yeah, we're like 16, 17 marks, 15 marks, something like that, doing it. So like it's worked out pretty well so far. And it's very, very, very simple, very easy, not too much skill required. Obviously, the better you are at the game, the better it will work. But again, I'm just sitting here, I'm just hovering the Baron. Don't worry about dragons unless the next dragon is like a soul. Otherwise, just hover the Barons. I just hover the Baron, I poke here. The enemy can't actually do anything. And we stall the game, we stall, and then eventually we scale and we 1v9 because Syndra is broken. Ori is broken. Heimerdinger, broken. So like all these champs are just broken as well. They do so much damage, so insane. And then if the enemy ever overextends, simple. Otherwise, I'm just going to hover here. Like notice, like my positioning is literally just like I'm just hovering over a wall constantly. I'm just waiting for the enemy to do something stupid. They get caught out, and boom, like we're able to get a kill there. Again, I throw my ultimate onto the Mundo. I don't learn my lesson, clearly. And he yields it up. Stupid ultimate by me. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm a stupid idiot, as I told you guys. But we're stalling out the game, so this stupid idiot is able to use this strategy just fine because it's that broken. At this point, the Mundo is kind of squishy too. I protobelt into a wall, so I have to flash out. But the Gwen overextends for no reason onto me and to my entire team. And again, since I'm positioning very safe, even when I misclick my buttons, I'm able to live because I'm just hovering over a wall with my team. And pretty straightforward. Here we're able to one-shot the Mundo because now we farmed enough. He didn't have his ultimate, so finally we're able to blow him up since he didn't have his ult. So maybe I was just thinking about the second ultimate around. And maybe that was my thought. Who knows? It was not. Spoiler alert. Either way, continuing to hover the Baron. This is literally what the game revolves around. Past 11 minutes is just that Baron 95% of the time. Dragons do not really matter for the most part. Again, unless it's Soul. If it's Soul, then it kind of matters. Otherwise, it just doesn't matter. Here we try to pick off the Pike because he's just, again, he's zooming through it. But I don't know what this guy was doing. He made no sense, but it is what it is. Victor gets caught out. We try to catch out the Lucian, but again, we miss because we suck. I need to stop saying that, though. Either way, Lee Sin gets him. My team actually gets some nice picks here, so this isn't even much that I did here. I'm just hovering here, you know, being a menacing Syndra, distracting the enemy with my, I don't know, awesome personality, maybe. And now we just go for Baron. I want to make sure that I zone out the enemy jungle, because I know that Mundo is really, really hard to stop from getting into our, you know, into the jungle and stealing. So I just end up making sure I'm paying attention to where he might come from, zoning him so that he can't really do it. And we're able to get the objective for free. And then I think we're able to kill Mundo afterwards. I don't know if I ult him for the 9th time. Nope, I think I learned my lesson a little bit. Team kills him. We get our anti-shield, which helps for his gargoyle. Recall for it. Set up for the next objective. Oh, I one-shot someone. Wait. Look at this, guys. Wow, my champion is so cool. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Huh? That's so cool. Wow, that was so cool how I one-shot him. I really thought that was awesome. And this pretty much is that you farm. You don't worry about your team. And then you start one-shotting people. It's a really cool strategy, guys. I really recommend that you try it out. It's fun. I enjoy it. And I think we pretty much end here. I don't actually remember. But, I mean, at this point, we should just be pushing mid. Pike randomly walks forward and dies, I guess. Thank you, Pike. I don't know what this guy was... Like, he didn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know how some of these players are in the rank that they're in, but they are in the rank that they're in. And so we kill him for no reason. Continue to push. Poke him out as we push. And we end the game there. So I just wanted to show you guys this extremely simple strategy. I've made videos on it in the past. We get 1 kill, you know, to buff up the stats. It's very effective, very consistent. I've climbed quite well on mid lane so far, even after a little rough patch in the morning of games, because you play this consistently well, and in the long run, you definitely climb with it. S rating better than 94.5%. And at this point, we were 15 marks, and then I think we won 2 more games after. So yeah, 17 marks at this point. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.